All right, we're calling that pre-show here on the Rants of Izzo on Spreely.com. It's Thursday. It's Thursday. We're just doing that. Remember, if you're new to the show, we appreciate you, even if we think you're a pain in the ass. Lots of things going on with the Rants of Izzo show. We have a new chat, because I know that a lot of you like to sit there and still, no matter how many times we say go to Spreely.com, you guys still like to watch wherever you're at. I can't fault you. Whatever. You want to be stupid, be stupid. But if you want to get involved with the show, instead of chatting on this tube and Fumble and yoursistersass.com or whatever, Telegram, the Rants of Izzo show, has its own chat room. Join us there. Get engaged on it. Have a conversation, 24/7 live chat. I monitor it, so if you send dick pics or whatever, you'll probably be removed, especially if it's bigger than mine. But it is what it is. We're working on the Rants of Izzo show membership, because remember, we're fully damn funded by you, period. So if I say, hey, there's a membership where it's $5 a month to join, fucking join it, because we're going to have exclusive stuff you can't get anywhere else, including those who are joined. Well, yeah, we're probably going to let you on the show every once in a while. We're going to do exclusive content with me behind the scenes. You guys might be able to have a cigar with me a couple times a month where we sit and I just answer your questions, have conversations with you. Maybe I won't dress so appropriately, all that kind of stuff. What else we got? Oh, Alan, I didn't let you know you're not going to be able to see me today. I didn't tell you about that. Sorry.
Oh, no.
That's what it is. Don't forget to buy my book, Before the Badge, Everything You Need to Know Before You Become a Cop. Available at Barnes & Noble, Words Matter Publishing, and Amazon.com. Alan Roberts from Evening Rants sitting in today with Mark Lobliner, who I actually had the fucking awesome time sitting in with you guys the other day. Monday through Thursday, live, 8 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you check that out. Yeah, on Spreely. Make sure you go check that out. And, yeah, shit. We got a lot to discuss today. All right, we're live in 40 seconds here on Spreely Media. So, guys, remember to go do that. Go to Spreely.com. Check out all the other shows on there, like the Burn Pit Podcast, Report and Opine, Evening Rants, Shannon Joy Show, and more. Go check out the social media platform as well. That is there, too. You'd say Michelle Obama's got a giant hog, and no one's going to censor you.
Wow.
All right, welcome to the Rants of Izzo show. Here we go. Let's have a conversation or two. Or a rant.
Prepare yourself.
The opinions of the host and guests on the show are exclusively just that, opinions. That means that they shouldn't be the cause of your state of being offended. Why does everybody get so butthurt?
Okay, let's go. Ready, go!
Sit down, shut up, and pay attention.
Damn!
This is the Rants of Izzo Show with your hosts, Dominick Izzo, from porn to politics. We touch every third rail we can find. You might want to put your headphones on so your mom can't hear this. It's been called the most entertaining 60 minutes on the internet, and it starts now. Let's do this.
Hey, good afternoon. Rants of Izzo show here on Spreely Media. I'm Dominick Izzo. I am your host for the show, where we talk about everything from porn to politics. It's educational. It's meant to be engaging. We definitely want to entertain you during your afternoon, wherever you're listening at live, if that's the case. We know that you're probably stuck in a position of suck, because mid-afternoon we want to make things a little bit easier. Sitting in with me, the co-pilot chair today, is Alan Roberts from the Evening Rants. How the hell are you, dude?
Very good, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. We had a great time having you on. I'm very happy to be here today.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. So, Alan and Mark Lobliner, for those who like, man, why have I heard that name before? Especially if you're in like the fitness world. You guys have this awesome, high energy, very it's I don't like to use the word controversial.
Manic?
It's so stupid. Yeah, it's great. It makes me feel like home. It makes me feel like I'm normal. And you guys invited me on the other day. We did like 90 minutes of just non-stop stuff, and it's great to talk to people who actually speak your language. And I appreciate you guys doing what you do. So it's fucking great to have you on.
Thanks much. Mark and I have been friends and enemies and all sorts of shit. He's like my best friend now, but we have very similar ADHDs. Like, I mean, like our ADHD kind of syncs up. Us together in person is a lot. Like, we feel bad for our wives when we get together because we're a lot. Like, we're a lot individually, but it's just when two people with raging unmet ADHD who are passionate about what they do, like, get together, we'll suck the oxygen out of a fucking room.
I can't imagine. You know? I mean, Mark was up here I'd never realized. I knew of Mark when I would watch his YouTube channel all the time on tigerfitness.com. And he literally lived 15 minutes from me forever. Yeah. And I never met up with him. I'm like, oh, yeah, I would watch. I took it for granted. Then when he moved, I'm like, shit. I almost stopped by him in January of this year, but for the first time in like ever, the roadways where you guys are at iced over. And it was insane, absolutely insane. All right, you and I, and Mark, we talked about so many issues the other day. I'd like to dive just right into stuff for the show.
Let's get it.
And we don't do any show prep, which I loved with your stuff. I love that. You guys just threw topics at each other. So if you guys are listening or looking for another high energetic, very, very engaging intellectual show that actually talks about common fucking sense, evening rants, Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, check them out. The big news that is going around now is of an Indiana boy who was 10 years old. He had big plans for the future. He killed himself after being bullied at school, family says. Funeral services were held on Wednesday for 10-year-old Sammy Touche, an Indiana boy who loved to fish and had the best smile. While his anguished parents struggled to understand why their child took his own life, Sammy was in the 4th grade at Greenville Intermediate School and had been bullied again and again by classmates, according to his parents. He killed himself on May 5th in his bedroom, his family said. Sammy was remembered as a boy who knew no stranger meant no harm to anyone, never sat still, had the biggest heart along with the best smile, according to his online obituary. He had big plans for the future. All right, so, and this article goes on and on and on and on and on. I have an opinion. I don't expect it to be the same as yours, but when I texted you that I wanted to talk about this, you kind of seemed to, we may align on this. I take a different view than when I see a horrible tragedy like this, a 10-year-old, takes his own life. I think Mark, we started to talk about bullying on your show. Mark may have a different view. I kind of qualified my statement on bullying. I think online bullying versus in-person bullying is a completely different animal. Online bullying, you get the anonymity, and it's just nonstop. It's like a swarm of fucking angry hornets, and there's really nothing you can do about it except for ignore it. My first thing, and I'm an asshole. I'm not a parent. I don't know if you are. Tell me if I'm wrong with this.
I am.
Okay, so when I read 10-year-old was bullied and killed himself, first kind of thoughts I thought to myself is, where's the fucking parents? What 10? How did he kill himself? How did a 10-year-old know to kill themselves? By what means did they do that? Number one. Number two, was the father, and these are all insensitive questions, but I don't care. Was the father, is he a masculine man? Was he allowed to raise his son? Or did the mother step in with the nonstop reinforcement of emotional trauma? Poor baby, it's okay. No, they don't understand you. And it says he was just incessantly and relentlessly bullied, and they left him in the fucking school? So my question to you is, where am I wrong on this? Where am I right on this? What are your views? You read this. What was your gut reaction?
Well, I read that they, like the parents had tried like 20 attempts to address it with the school and shit like that. Pull your fucking kid out of the goddamn school. But I mean, if they're not going to take care of it, because here's the two options you're left with. If the school's not going to take care of it, you show up at the parents of the kid's house that are bullying them, and you beat the shit out of the dads in front of them. And I really believe that. Like, okay, your kid's bullying my kid. I can't beat up your kid, but I'm going to beat the fucking snot out of you. And that way your son will see, or your son or daughter will see, that bullying has consequences. You're just having to pay the consequences for your child. Since the school's not going to do it, and since you're not going to do it, I'm going to take it upon myself, and I'll smile in my fucking mugshot, you know, because like it's my kid. Like, you know, I'm just not going to watch him be abused and shit, you know. But also pull your kid out of school. Frankly, public school, if you pull your kid out and do online or private school, fucking do it, because public schools right now are a travesty, right? It's more about social plight and social things than anything, and they allow shit like this to happen. Like, I don't know why they were bullying this kid. He seemed like he looked like a cute little kid, you know. But I will say certain things, like when I was like 6 or 7 and I was getting picked on at school, that's when my parents put me in judo, and then people don't fuck with me no more. You know, like by the time I got to high school, I was still, when I graduated high school, I was 135 at this height. I was very skinny, you know. And when I was in like ninth grade, when I went to high school, I was shorter and even skinnier. Like I was like a very small kid. So if I didn't know judo, if my parents hadn't taught me to take care of myself, and if my dad told me not to take no shit, I would have gotten picked on a lot probably. But that shouldn't happen as much for me as other people, because I knew how to take care of myself. And that's one of the reasons why you heard Mark talk on our show. Like your child should be in a competitive sport, a team sport. Like my son did MMA and did wrestling throughout high school. Like it was not even a debate, you know? And I'm just wondering where this dad is, like after how many attempts of you contacting the school and them not doing something, are you going to do something? At that stage, like there's not really justice anymore. There's the rules. Like you can get in trouble for breaking the rules, and you can get in trouble for, shit protecting yourself almost in most cases. But that's not justice. Justice is these people are picking on this little kid, and there's no recourse, and the school's not taking care of it. Justice would be for the fathers to go fucking beat the shit out of the fathers of the bullies. And I really mean that. Like we need to get back there. I know that's a very, you know, violence is the answer type thing, but as a newsflash for a lot of people, violence is the answer sometimes.
I don't think people understand that bullying is a great life lesson learner for even those who do the bullying, because you realize like, shit, I'm picking on this person, or what am I able to do, and this and that. And all of us have stories about how we were bullied, and all of a sudden we became friends with our bully. That's even commonplace. I took a ton of shit in 2018 for a kid, some kid, I can't remember his name. I just remember he had the hair lip. He was in his car with his mom in the passenger seat crying because he was bullied at school. And of course, mom, who's got to fucking film everything, records this kid and puts him up online because he's being bullied at school, and he doesn't understand.
That's not going to make it better.
Well, no. I took a ton of shit saying, fuck this little kid, something's wrong with this, right? And NBA players were reaching out to him. They donated to a shit. Turns out the little cocksucker was bullying kids first. Oh. I took a ton of shit for this. And because I always, there's always several sides of this. I don't know. And I don't care about being the asshole. I don't know what this Sam kid did. I have no idea. He may look like a beautiful boy. What 10-year-old kills himself to your body's own defense mechanisms, right? It's like, I guess it's the reason why you can't hold your breath to death or drown yourself, is because your body will fight for that. What kid? What, did he take a handful of pills? How did he know what to do? Did he use his father's gun? At what point does a kid get so pushed to that? And I blame the parents for this. If you ask 20 times for your child to stop being bullied, you're to blame. You didn't protect your kids.
Yeah. And we're reaching a stage at a very quick pace where all the men that have been demonized for the last 6 to 10 years, where people like us are the ones that are going to need to be required to fix shit, because there's no justice. I can't imagine being in one of these states where they literally just kind of let rapists go free. It's and shit like that. I can't, if how this should work, if somebody were to assault one of your family members, if somebody were to assault one of my family members in that way, they're in jail to protect them. You know what I mean? Because if they get out on bail, they're not making trial.
Yeah, well, you've got that's toxic masculinity. I'm sorry, Alan. Don't you know that's toxic masculinity? We can't have that.
Then color me toxic. Then color me toxic because I'm. If we want this shit to stop, we will stop it. Society will continue to suffer from what it allows. We are allowing this. The men of society, up until now, we are allowing this. Many of us sat the fuck, not you, not me, not Mark, not people like us, but many men sat down and just shut the fuck up when the government started taking our rights, when the media and the government started telling us that some dude with a dick can go into the bathroom with your wife. You know, like it's insane to think that men aren't doing something about this shit. The whole bathroom thing, that should not even be an issue. Men like us should have stopped that. I talked about this last night on our show. You're not going to go in the bathroom behind my wife if you've got a beard.
Right.
The mere attempt is going to make me kick your fucking ass. The mere attempt is going to make me beat you to fuck down. And I'll smile on my mugshot. And I say that a lot. And everybody's like, oh, well, you'll get arrested. There are some things that are worth getting arrested for. You know, I'm sorry, but like, if it's a matter of my wife even feeling intimidated, I'm not even saying that the person's going to do anything. But if a very visibly clear male walks into a room to try to bully my wife, basically to make her feel unsafe, I'm going to beat the fuck out of them.
We're lost with masculinity, but I have to wonder how many women have allowed that. I have done a lot of reanalyzing my father over the last several years and realizing that he's the strongest fucking man I've ever met. And every boy says that about their father, but I didn't always have that opinion of him. I thought he was extremely weak until I realized the shit he put up with on a daily fucking basis and tolerated stuff to keep his family moving forward. And I look at my mother. My mother was a very hard woman, very fucking hard woman. I do not recall my mother ever telling me she loved me. I know I don't remember it, you know, and I'm sure she did, but she was a very hard woman. And when I was in my mid 30s, you know, I had a conversation with her parenting style because there were no hugs, no fucking kisses in the home. You know, I think we're the only Italian household ever to show no affection. And she had stated, I did not want you, meaning your kids, me and my other two sisters, to ever grow up and not be able to be independent. I did not want you to have dependency issues whatsoever. And I'm like, well, I guess there's no fucking instruction manual. My mother lived on that Dr. Spock book that was in the house all the time. But when it came down to being bullied and shit, I was never fucking like placated about it. It was always deal with it. Deal with it. Don't throw the first punch, but fucking deal with it. So
that's the rule. That was my rule growing up too.
But how many men are allowed?
Don't start none, but don't come home if you don't finish it.
How many men are allowed to raise their sons that way? Or do we have a generation of women who step in the second she sees you in the backyard, taking your kid's hands and putting him up and teaching him guard, and she goes, no. And that's toxic masculinity. He's got to be safe and he's got to be protected. How much do women not understand that although probably good intention does more damage to boys becoming men than they know, and they should not fucking try to raise men that way.
You know, I think that a huge portion of this, and I believe that's a very large. But first of all, there's twofold factor to this. First, that means that as a man, if you are all of a sudden at the point where you have a child, you've been with this woman for long enough to have a child, and then you start teaching the child to defend itself, and she throws her hands up, you've picked poorly. How the fuck did you not notice was going to be a problem, right? Because if you want to raise strong children, they're going to have to learn to defend themselves. And anybody that tries to get you to stop, like, you've picked wrong. You've mated with the wrong fucking idiot. Basically, you stuck your dick in crazy and stupid. Because to plead to not teach your kid to defend themselves, that's stupid. Because the world's fucked up. And a huge other portion of this is these women that you're talking about, they don't know what violence actually is. Like, people think words are violence right now. Those are people that have never experienced actual fucking violence, if you ask me. You know, like, I have been the victim of and committed fucking violence in my life. That's how it is, right? And I just think that to a great degree, social media and all this stuff, it makes it seem like there's no violence really in America. So why do we need people to be able to prepare for it? Send some of these soccer moms to, inner city Chicago at any given fucking weekend, send to fucking downtown New York, have them ride the subway consistently for a week in New York, right? Have them go to fucking Memphis and just walk around the streets. Have them go to LA and dance around the fucking shit on the street, in San Francisco and dance around the shit on the street while the fucking crackheads try to fucking steal the wheels off your car while it's rolling. You know what I mean? Like, if people actually experienced what is going on in the world, they would realize that not only is violence often the answer, but it is a missing answer for us now. People run completely unchecked. The shirt I wear in my profile pictures is stay violent, because I believe that men should stay able to commit very serious, egregious violence at the drop of a hat to protect their loved ones. And that is the actual social deterrent. Like, you and I both know, when we were growing up, if you talk shit, you had to talk shit to the person's face, right? And people were leery about it because there was always the possibility that not only would you get beat up, but nothing would be done about it, because the cops would roll up and be like, well, he started it. Okay, you guys figured it the fuck out. Nobody died. We're good. No jail. It was this social deterrent. Well, now people aren't going to jail for shit, for like basically robbing, stealing, burglarizing and shit like that. But people are going to jail for defending themselves. That's fucked up. Very fucked up.
We have that. That's, I think, where women intervened because men were too busy working. You get the women who, you look at, I can't stand when a girl you're dating tries to intervene from a fight happening between you and some guy at a bar. It's like, get the fuck out of the way. You take that on a higher scale with these mothers who now have to come outside and separate boys. But then you've got the contradiction. I blame women for a lot of this stuff, because how many of them want the boy, the man? They want the king from what they see in the movie 300, but they don't want their sons to go through that crucible of learning, no, he can't do that. Well, you got to fucking raise a man like that for someone else. And when you're talking about, I didn't like at Chicago, holy shit. The white liberal is an amazing creature. The white female liberal is an amazing creature. And I'm so curious to see what happens when the shit continues to get worse and they think that the answer is to show love and compassion and, oh, honey, go to your room and give them your clean new pair of sneakers. They fit them size. I on a daily basis, since I don't think that there's a solution that's to be had other than fucking just let it all go to shit, I'm ready for chaos to ensue and survival of the fittest to take part. I'm ready for the Hunger Games. I'm ready for all that shit to happen. And it's got to happen before I'm 65, because I think my body will be a little bit worse for wear by then.
Yeah, but even then, you train, know what you're doing, and able to. My wife and I are not preppers, but we're homesteaders, right? We talk about this a lot, right? Because not only does every homesteader sit back and have a plan of like, okay, I'm just going to grow food. It's like you're going to be in a vacuum. Like, no, people were probably going to come try to take your shit. And if you're smart, you'd find out if somebody tries to come take your shit, you'd find out where their shit's at. And once you've dispatched them, you'd go get their shit. Like, people don't understand how savage this is going to get. But I just always point out to everybody, as long as they've got us arguing back and forth, left, right, conservative, woke, whatever, all that bullshit. As long as they got us arguing black, white, gay, straight, as long as we're arguing amongst each other, the government is going to allow this shit to roll and keep going towards the dumpster, because they're able to extort more money. They're able to send it away and have it laundered. The biggest thing is, if we all of a sudden, all of us, like this show, all of a sudden wakes up a bunch of dudes and women, and everybody's like, yeah, fuck the government. Like, oh shit, like fuck this shit. They're going to turn the power grid off on us, people. Like, they're in control. They just are pretending that we're in control. They are firmly in control. And while the power grid going down won't affect people like me, like the solar and the generators will fucking kick in, I'm good forever, right? I'll grow my food, I'll raise my rabbits, I'll do my shit, I'll feed myself and to protect my land. If you live in a city and the power grid goes down, like chaos. It's escape from New York, escape from LA time.
Fucking 100%. How bad did we let this happen? Meaning, the conservative side, I've said this before, during the 2020 election, I was very guilty of yeah, maybe Trump will fix this kind of shit. And we watched, right? You had the liberal left, who is phenomenal at organizing, phenomenal at actually getting together, phenomenal at destroying, phenomenal all that shit. Where conservatives, we share memes. Oh, look, here's another article. I can't tell you how many times I will comment on like Breitbart's articles on Hunter Biden, this and that, and I say all the time, nothing will happen. And it's just on top repetitiveness. At what point did conservative males sit back? Because I'll take the blame with men, because I don't know what women could wind up doing. Did we allow this shit to happen by saying, oh, look, one man, in this case Trump, is going to save us all from this, and we don't have to do anything but vote? Is this the conservative male's fault?
Yeah, oh, absolutely it is. Because not only that, but conservative males really allow themselves to be pussified. Like, as the very second, like about 10 years ago, when the term toxic masculinity started fucking coming about, we should have been like, fuck you, I don't care. Call me what you want. I don't give a shit. Like, I've always been, I literally have a catchphrase that I use all the time, but what people think about me is really none of my business. That's a them thing. You know what I mean? Like, I come from a time where I'm confident in myself. I don't need external validation of all people. And I know it sounds weird because I'm online all the time, but I'm like you. I'm very divisive. Like, half the people love me, half the people send me death threats, you know? And of those people that send me death threats, I laugh them off and say, show up at my house and, you know, you'll be fucked. But the normal conservative male, I mean, fucking normal conservative male is viewed as like Ben Shapiro and fucking Jordan Peterson and shit like that. Like, these dudes are not like tough guys, you know? And we need to get back to like the actual like male, conservative male. The ideal of a male is built like a fucking action hero and is willing to kick somebody's ass very quickly.
I'm so glad you're bringing this up. Keep going. I'm so glad you're bringing this up.
We need to bring that. That should be the ideal male. It's weird how action movies are still watched. Like Jason Statham, still super popular. Fucking show Reacher. That Alan, whatever the fuck name his dude is, guy that tried to say he's not on steroids and he's fucking.
Oh my! Of course he is.
All fucking
Shut up. Yes, he is.
No steroids, nothing. Like, motherfucker.
6'12", 300 pounds, right?
Yeah, stop it, bitch. But anyway, we need to get back to like, men should want to look like action heroes. Like, I point this out all the time. I'm going to be 53 years old here this summer, right? I am built like the average male should be built at 50. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've got broad shoulders. I worked out for almost 40 fucking years. Like, I've pumped iron for almost 40 fucking years. And I am built like the average 50-year-old male should be. Like, very small stomach, decent sized musculature in the legs, butt, back, arms, shoulders, neck. Like, this is how we should be built. But instead, most people are Homer Simpsons. Like, most dudes are Homer Simpsons now. It's weird. Don't have tough guys anymore because most men are pussies. And I hear them all the time. Yep. The conservative guys like, well, come try to take it, bitch.
Oh my God. The fucking, go ahead.
You're 350 fucking pounds. They don't need to come take your weapons. They can just stop your pharmaceuticals, from coming to your house and wait and come collect your dead ass body.
I have a men's chat. Become War. We have a men's chat, and last night we discussed. I'm sure I don't know if I talked about this on your show. Now, Wes Watson. I talked about him last night, and again, I don't know him. We've exchanged DMs. That's it. And his message is ripped, rich, and rare. And he talks about there's three compartments. If you go to the gym, it's got to be about the gym. If you go make money, it's about money. Family, about family. And as a man, you can't have a missing component. You can't be rich and fat. You just can't do. And I'm like, I agree with everything he says. Well, he's on a panel about a week or two ago, and there was the 10 influencers on a panel, and they're all discussing what their ideal of success is. These guys give a 30-second answer. He gives a 5-minute answer. And then the next guy is this guy who goes off on the typical, well, as a Christian, money isn't everything and this and that. And Wes starts to say, well, I disagree with you, but right. So then as the guy proceeds to press Wes does the whole, how you're not happy with yourself. You're fat. You've got tits. And he was getting mocked. Wes was. Here, this was my thing, and I don't know if how it is with you. I want another fucking male, and we talked about this on Evening Rants, to say that I'm fucking fat. I want another male to bark when fucking and snap at me when I step out of line, because either I'm going to fucking realize it or I'm going to snap back. Where did we get to the point? And I think this was the 80s. I think in the 80s, pop culture, movies, TVs featured that guys who had muscle and were built were stupid, that the main character in all 80s films was a hopeless romantic who was weak, and the women slid in, and if it was an overly aggressive guy, he was the bad guy. I think that's where shit fucked up, because now you have the whole, well, the loudest guy in the room is the most insecure. No, he's not. No, he's fucking not. I think that's where we started to go wrong.
That's fucked up when they're like the loudest guy in the room is most insecure. Like I always find that funny because like people say horrible shit about me every day, and I laugh. I oftentimes repost it because I think it's funny. You know what I mean? And
God, we are the same. You're my older fucking brother. Gray hair, blue eyes. Yeah, you're my older brother.
To me, that shit's funny because nobody can say anything meaner than me and my best friends from sitting around drinking a pitcher of beer underage at the bar that used to serve us when we were like 18 years old. Me and my high school buddies used to say some horribly mean shit to each other because we're joking. It's how we fucking communicate, right? But most men, like, you're not happy if you're fat. I do mostly weight loss coaching and stuff like that in my real day job. But it amazes me how both men, like masculine men, have been demonized, and these soft ass, pussy ass men are like viewed as okay. The whole dad bod thing, I fucking hate that shit because dad bod went very quickly, just like I said it would, from a guy that's not quite lean, but you can tell he works out fairly often. He's just not super lean. That was the dad bod, right? Now the dad bod is fatter than Homer Simpson. Like it's these 300-pound fat fucks with tits wanting to fucking pretend that they're tough guys, and they're still desirable. Like, ladies, if you like a dad bod over somebody that's jacked, it's because you like mediocre.
Well, we know exactly why they like that. That's because they're insecure. I can't tell you how many, like, it's a standard. If I date a girl, she's got to go to the gym. Oh, why is it? Because it's fucking for yourself. I refuse to date somebody or end up with somebody who doesn't have pride in themselves. So 100%. Anytime I would get a woman who would shame me for going to the gym, it's because she was insecure about her own fucking fatness.
Absolutely. And then these dudes get fat and pliable and dependent upon the government. They are. And even if they, like, every dude that's got a good job and he's just fat, but he's got a good job and I'm successful in this and that, like, you're a slave. You know, if you're on daily medication because you fucking face fuck yourself with pie every day, you're a slave to the pharmaceutical industry, and you're a slave to that pie every single day. And that's where men are at. Like, because just like you said, in the 80s, we allowed men to start being viewed as like think about Boy George. Don't get me wrong. I've got nothing against Boy George because I'm not an easily persuaded person and never have been. I didn't all of a sudden think I should start wearing makeup and fucking talk like a girl. No, I just said, oh, interesting artist. These rock stars are crazy, right? But if you look back, my wife and I talk about this just to bring up something interesting. If you look at Hollywood music and even government, the names used to change all the time. Like they would do like 10 years worth of movies, and then they would retire. Or they would just get replaced or something like that, right? Until the 80s. In the 80s, all of a sudden, a group of people that went into music, and a group of people that went into, and a group of people that went into politics, and even the media, they just stayed. Like, think about it. The leading men right now, like all the leading men are 50. You know, they're in their 50s, all of them, right? Very, very few younger dudes, right? And even for the action hero roles, they're all in their 50s, and they all are. It's very. Oh,
they're getting older. They're getting older, and which is a joke where you see like I like the Expendables, and I think it was a novel. But Stallone in his 70s as the action hero? Come on, man. Schwarzenegger? That's no.
The last Expendables, they focused on Statham because you could tell that Stallone could not move around. You could tell it's on him. You know what I mean? Like you can tell that, and he's had so many very serious injuries from movies and shit like that. It's crazy. But I just think that these people kind of coupled together, the media, music, and Hollywood and politics, they all kind of coupled together to basically craft our environment, to craft our culture. Like Hollywood and the media are the ones that tell you what's popular, and they're the ones that tell you what to wear. They're the ones that tell you how to act. They're the ones that like, they will shine something in a good light, just like with what you're talking. Like it's all these rom-com guys. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I'm a manly man, and I love being romantic with my wife. Like I love it, right? But it's my wife, right? But I'm not a rom-com by any stretch of the imagination. Being married to me must be a nightmare fucking sometimes, because it's gotta be, because I'm me. You know, like I'm aware. I'm self-aware, right? But these dudes are just okay with being pussies. Guys talking about their fucking feelings like this. That was a big popular thing the last 2 years. Like, people understand how hard it is to be a guy. Shut the fuck up. You're not even a guy if you're bitching about that. It's so hard to be a guy. Shut the fuck up.
I talked about that in my 20s and 30s. I cannot express how many relationships I destroyed by vocalizing how I felt. And we talked about stoicism last night as men, and how it's not a matter of stoicism, but fucking, I'm sorry, we take our feelings, we bear them down, we power through them. That is what's being a man. And these women are destroying men because they claim they want emotion, but the second a guy does it, it's fucking over. It's over. Yeah, you're making a great damn point. Shit, the last three fucking conversations, I've lost the point I was going to have. Keep going, because there's something else I was going to say, but it'll hit me in a minute.
So the basic point that I see this with is that, like, all of a sudden they want men to be super in touch with their feelings, but we're men. That's not a pretty thing. Like, I don't think, like, women don't even understand to a certain degree how fucking dark it can get up here.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I say it all the time. Like, I watched, there was a video a while back where this girl jumped, like, it was a bunch of kids fighting, but this girl jumped on this other girl and was pounding her head into the ground, trying to kill her.
Black
right?
girl, white girl. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And my comment on Twitter was, they'd all be dead. Mm-hmm. They're like, well, I'd kill everybody. The people that didn't stop it, the person that did it, anybody that would try to stop me from dealing with that, the person that's holding the camera, they'd all be dead. And they're like, over this, I'm like, they're trying to, they if that was my child, if that was my daughter, they'd all be dead.
People do not.
This is no shit. They would be inventing words for the level of violence I would take that shit to.
What you're expressing is a need that most people do not have. It's the ability to go to that level. I say this all the time, is that if I lift heavy, I have two scenarios in my head that I play before I do. And one is Christ suffering on the cross for me for 6 hours. Holy shit, that's incomparable. I'm going to move this weight. The other one is my sister and the screams that must be coming out of her mouth as somebody is trying to behead my niece. You put yourself in the darkest, most fucked up shit possible to change your state to go to that level of violence. People don't get it. Right. What I was going to say is there's a martial arts instructor who he's got a million plus followers, and he started off years ago. He's a black martial arts instructor who's focusing on the black community and having them express their violence and emotions. And this kid was trying to break a board, punching through it, couldn't do it, and he started crying. And the martial arts instructor says, "All right, what are you feeling? What are you going through?" And it went a viral clip because the kid was crying, and he was teaching him it's okay to cry. Well, now, because of all that mainstream media coverage and the millions of people who wound up following and liking it, now, I don't think he understands this, or maybe he does. Now you get boys who they want to be featured as the next phenomenon, so they cry. They express their frustration in class. And I'm like, does he not see the damage he's doing by saying it's okay to cry? It's okay to cry in class. Great. Get the fucking cameras out of there. Stop filming it and putting up online. Because now you're teaching this boy to suppress his feelings or of anger, cry properly. I gotta cry, I gotta get him out. And then he's gonna go in the real world and do what? He's gonna meet some bully and cry? Yeah. What you're talking about, that violence too, is so so fucking important. And how many men think they're fucked up by saying, man, I would, if that guy raped my niece, you could picture what you would do to him. Put him in a chair. Well, how are you going to gut him properly to keep him alive?
Yeah.
Fucking torture him. I don't get why people don't understand. That's a part of our DNA.
Yeah, it is. It's deterrent. I would say this, like, the reason why we have such a pedophilia problem is that, well, our leaders are pedophiles, but besides that, there's no real repercussion. Like, they go to jail, big fucking deal.
They're not rehabilitatable. You can't rehabilitate them.
This is wood chipper fuel, like allowing this to happen. Like, so think about, we talk about cruel and unusual, right? Somebody sexually assaults your little girl, your daughter, right? And since, that you're not in a death penalty state because Florida's made it so maybe we can get the death penalty on this, but still, I'm sorry. It's still we give you 3 hots and a cot. We're paying for your medical, we pay for their medical care before we kill them. It's stupid as fuck, if you ask me. And it's cruel and unusual to make a parent of a child who was assaulted help pay for the care of the person that assaulted their child via their taxes. To me, that's fucked up. It's just completely fucked up, right? The only really good pedophile is a dead one. And I'm sorry that, like, I know that like, I'm like you. I talk in ways that a lot of people don't necessarily like want to think about, but I challenge any of you, go to the National Sex Offender Registry, right? It's online, it's free. Type in your address and click 3-mile radius. There's almost no place in the United States that will not come up with a pedophile's name that's on the registry, not that got caught. That it's not even the fucking multitude more that don't get caught, right? If we started just, if fathers just started heading these motherfuckers, like just show up and, oh, well, we showed up at this pedophile's house to issue the warrant, but his head's sitting on his lap, People, that's the deterrent. Because they know they're not getting put to death. They're just going to be given a life. They're given a life of 3 hots and a cot. And it may not be the best life, but they're given one that they don't need to pay for. They don't even need to do another fucking thing. They earned it. They earned free meals, free medical, and free care by sexually assaulting a child. That is not how society is supposed to work. That is not how we are supposed to function as people. We're supposed to function as, okay, we're completely independent. We have personal liberty until somebody negatively affects that personal liberty. Pedophiles they're not going to molest themselves. So they're either going to molest their children or your children. We can't accept that. They're the future. They're the future of us. We are having all these damaged children. The statistics are just disgusting about it. It's because we don't have enough. There's not a true punishment for it.
No,
would be a painful death.
Well, it is. It's a mercy kill as far as I'm concerned. It is that's a disease. I swear to God, if I had that disease, I'd want to be put out of my misery. You cannot rehabilitate anybody with a sexual deviance of that level. Rape or anything with children, they gotta go. It's end of story. When you're talking, I'm remembering John Wayne Gacy. I mean, one of the most prolific serial killers in the world. 15 years on death row for killing over 30 boys.
15.
Why did we? I'll never forget it. I was a kid. I think I just graduated high school when they put him to death. I think I was working at Blockbuster Videos, like 93. Mm-hmm. And I come home, and it's like 12:01 a.m. and I'm watching outside of the jail where they just had reports he was put to death. I'm like, wow, 15 years, taxpayer money. Yep. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable.
It's unreal that whole that's done because people make profit. It's amazing we're a society that depend upon jailing people so much as a punishment, which is not really a punishment. Now, I could talk about my thoughts on the jail system forever, but it's supposed to be a punishment, right? But it's not really a punishment. I'm sorry, they're allowed too much freedom in jail. Like, I always hear like, oh, well, put him in Gen Pop and he'll be getting ass raped every day. Like, that's actually a problem that happens in prisons. You know, like, people don't understand. Like, that shit happens in prisons so they can, you know, extend the person's sentence and make more money off them, because for-profit prisons are massive money, like massive money. When I was working in healthcare, one of my healthcare facilities up in New York, we also produced the meals for the local county jail. Right, we spent more money per plate on the prisoners than on the people that were in the fucking hospital. Right, by almost twice. So we're somehow allowing massive amounts of profit on something that we are stating needs to happen. Like, our government says you should go to jail for 10 years. If we say that, our government should be the ones doing it. And we should do it in a way where, don't make it so they've got all this fucking free time and hots in a cot and all that shit. Fuck no. That should be the mini military. I mean, like, literally, like, teach these people some fucking discipline. Teach these, you know, put them in line. There should be no shot callers in jail besides the people running the fucking jail, right? And
I can't stand that. I don't, and I mean, we've got prison glorification culture now, right?
Yeah.
When I was younger, I couldn't stand that side of my heritage. I am not a fan of the Italian mafia movies and shit. I'm torn. Yes, I like The Godfather. Yes, I'll watch Casino, this and that, but I'm not proud of that shit. I never had posters up on my wall glorifying that kind of crap. Yeah. Now, and yeah, talking about Wes Watson, his whole thing is coming from prison. And he learned from it. Awesome, but we're glorifying prison culture now. That movie Shot Callers on, I won't, it's like, every time it comes up to watch in my queue, I'm like, I really don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch something that glorifies men going to prison and doing this. But again, too, that's where our hard men are, in fucking jail. That's or the mafia. That says something. That says we're pathetic.
This does. It says we're greatly pathetic. You know, the thing about it depends on the Italian, because I'm Italian also, but it depends on the Italian mafia you're talking about.
Telling you we're fucking related, man.
We gotta be. But if you look at the Italian mafia from way back in the day, from the 20s and 30s, it was more about business and taking care of your neighborhood. Now it's just deviance. Once it's drugs and prostitution and shit like that, then it's a problem. But when it was for speakeasies and shit like that and protection rackets, that's one thing. They're almost like they're taking care of the neighborhood. Shit, they're a mini government, frankly. But the Italian mob now, I'd imagine, is not anywhere close to that at all whatsoever, because it's all corrupt. They're involved in politics. You know, it's true. Men need to get back to not even looking at the mafia people, but like I always call it this way. Like, I'm a very divisive person. I don't have a lot of friends because of how I am, right? But I'm Doc Holliday. Like, I'm that kind of friend. So when I have you as when I consider you one of my friends, I'm Doc Holliday, right? And if you're like, I say this all the time, if something were to happen to one of Mark's children, fuck. Same thing as if something happened to one of my children, and we're going to fucking take one last ride, you know. And people just need to get there. Like, men need to step the fuck up. We are not voting our way out of this. We need to culturally rise above this. Stop believing what the movies tell you, that every good guy is in touch with his feelings, and these ass motherfuckers, like, what was his name, Robert Pattinson, who didn't want to lift to become Batman,
right.
Even shit like that.
Right, that blows me away. I'm like, and so now what's the next thing? Is Batman's going to be a female? I mean, Batgirl is the feature for shit.
That's in the comics. I don't even mind that, but you know, the reality of it is, like, Batman's not going to work out, dude. He has no like, the way it was made, he has no superpowers. He just became physically a weapon. You're not going to become weapon without working out. I find it amazing, but that's what Hollywood wants. Like, look at how wafy the fucking all the leading men are, the younger leading guys. There's very few that have muscle. There's some that will like work out and get muscle, but there's very few that actually are like who I would consider like, oh, I wouldn't want to fuck with that dude. You know what I mean? Like there's very few. Like for the longest time, and this is one of the ones that drives me crazy. Diesel, and a lot of people like I get the Vin Diesel shit all the goddamn time, and they're like, oh, you know, be a stunt double. Like I dwarf that bitch, that fat, sloppy, fucking rude ass motherfucker. I'd fucking dwarf him. My arms are like 4 inches fucking bigger than his. He's all camera, and this is who we're portraying as a tough guy. He plays one fucking role. Like
that's what they do. Look at fucking Robert De Niro. He plays tough guy, and he's a fucking whiny little cunt. 100%.
And he believes it. Robert De Niro has bought his own hype. Have you heard his interviews where it's insane. It's insane. Like, I would do this, I would do that. Bitch, you'd sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. That's what you would do. These Trump voters. Well, listen, I'm not a huge Trump fan, but I'm definitely a Trump voter because the opposite is insanity. Right. You know? And so what are you going to say to me, Robert De Niro? What the fuck?
I don't know where we got to this point where it started to come out too now. Like I knew nothing about Tupac Shakur growing, never listened to his music or anything, but now a video of him, like when he's in his mid to late. Right. I'm like, the imagery of this shit. Then I started to look at other people. You look at like it's a guilty pleasure. I like Ice-T. I like Ice Cube, their acting skills. And I'm like, well, these guys were fuck the police like crazy. And then they go and play cops in the movies and TV shows they're on. I'm like, how much of this shit, this faux tough guy crap is all fiction? It's all fiction and made up. And then how many of your guys out there, like I had said the worst thing in the world that could ever happen. I don't know if it would matter today, but definitely back in the 80s and 90s. If it was ever a thing and it came out that John Wayne was gay, I said American society would just be destroyed. Would be fucking destroyed. But now I think it's kind of like they expect, a Schwarzenegger to go in, be all pro-America, and it turns out he's a fucking communist socialist who doesn't want you to have your freedom. You get all these men going out there and they're like Alan Richardson from Reacher, who is rah, 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 kill everybody on screen. Then he's a little soft kind of behind the scenes, and I don't take I think there's a personality for the camera, and there's no congruency off camera. There's no congruency. Everything is pretend.
And that's my biggest problems with celebrity worship in general. Like me and Mark are like you. Like I much prefer live. I'm an intelligent man. I can talk my shit to anybody. Like the stuff I talk about, I absolutely know. I don't need a script. I don't need prep. I've even said like I would debate any public health official just with 5 minutes notice. So I can wipe the crusties out of my eyes and the notes on my phone. I'd destroy them, right? But all these people play a role, and they don't just play a role on camera. They all play a role, and they have the machine behind them to paint them as this nice person, and they do all this shit. Like Taylor Swift. They try to make Taylor Swift seem like she is the most down-to-earth, in-touch woman. She's a mid-30s woman who fucking plays music for teenage girls. Like once it starts to get a little creepy when you even think about it that way. But then if you want to call her a good person, this woman is so like beyond being one of us. It's like a 35-mile-an-hour plane flight in her private plane, right? That's not something that should be idolized. It's just not, that's massive overconsumption, massive fucking, almost just like classism, like where you think like it's so disgusting to me, but that's what they all do. When you look at what's going on now with the Epstein list, they got all this shit about P. Diddy. And the fucked up thing is there are more islands than just Epstein's island. You think it was just one goddamn dude? No, there's like, they never missed a beat. They just fucking whacked him in prison. And then they fucking kept going to somebody else's island. Or they would go to a P. Diddy party. Everybody knew about P. Diddy parties for fucking like 20 years. And he's finally in trouble. And he's not even in trouble. They tipped his ass off so he could fucking escape.
Yeah, amazing how that story just is no longer a big thing at all. It's like everything else from the Wayfair scandal to the Vegas shooter. It's like in our... Well, I loved it. We are very similar because when the whole Sound of Freedom shit came around, and everyone's like, I'm a pedophile hunter. I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, what do you fucking, you're going to go to some other country to hunt pedophiles when it happens in your own backyard all the fucking time. You don't do shit. Put your hashtag away. That's gone. God's kids are not for sale. That hashtag lasted all of 2 weeks, and I'm like, yeah, where's this Tim Ballard you were worshiping? What's going on? We are such a shitty fucking group of human beings that are all talk. And I blame mostly conservatives for that. That's my stance. And I don't think anything shit's going to change.
Well, the conservatives are all talk. And you said something earlier that I think that most people don't realize. Most Republicans are very clearly controlled opposition, like extremely. The pundits, the politicians are very, it's so clear that they're controlled opposition for the Democrats. The Democrats, however, those motherfuckers are on point, meaning like, somebody in their organization, I'm amazed we aren't trying to find out who, because it's definitely not Joe Biden, but somebody in their organization will come up with the talking points, and it is disseminated and then put out to the public in unison, in lockstep, so quickly, it's crazy. That's one of the reasons why they want to get rid of TikTok. They want to get rid of TikTok because information and they fact check people all the fucking time. No, don't get me wrong, TikTok's a dumpster fire, just like most social media. But all of a sudden, in a bipartisan way, they come up with a bill to ban TikTok. Like, whenever they all agree on something, they're pressed because they'll just fight back and forth. Republicans act like, this person wants to take your guns away. Well, motherfucker, you still voted yes on some gun restrictions, and that's where that shit starts. Right? Every Republican I know, totally for the Patriot, or every Republican politician, not trying to get rid of the Patriot Act, completely, solely unconstitutional Patriot Act. Like the things that Republicans allow have to be, like, it has to be because
people don't understand that. I ran for Cook County Sheriff, Chicago, second largest county in the nation, and the Republicans were the worst ones of the dealt with them all. We don't have Republicans here. They're fucking all lying cunts, and they side with the Democrats. We have not had the Republicans. I think Paul Vallis, but we have not had Republicans run. No, I think he was a Democrat. No, we have not had a Republican candidate for mayor. God knows how many terms. And you get like the young Republicans of Chicago. They back a Democrat. We don't have Republicans, and anybody needs to realize that. Go run for office. Go run for fucking Park District. I don't give a shit. You're going to see how they're just as big as cocksuckers as the left is. Oh yeah, it's they're. I think Jesse Ventura said it best, that like politics is just like pro wrestling. They're hitting each other with chairs over the head on camera, and then they're buying each other beers, laughing at the crowd at the bar that evening. I totally, not truer words are said. And he said that shit like 20 fucking years ago. It's just, we've reached a stage where they've been able to craft a culture of weakness, degeneracy, and dependence, right? Like men, women, weak, dependent, and just completely fucking degenerate. Like for us not to just be stomping the shit out of people who want to have drag queens come in and talk to your children. And if you want to be a drag queen, be a drag queen. You'd be a beautiful woman there, Dominic. It's the kids issue. It's the fucking kids issue.
It's the kids issue.
Where are all these mama bears? The one thing that blew me away is the entirety of this. Everything is online, right? You've got all these fucking, I'm a mama bear. It's like I'm stronger than 10 men put together. Really? Well, why is it that when the left doesn't like a politician getting elected, they'll burn shit fucking down? But when it comes to all of you women out there who say, I'm a conservative mama bear, you typed angrily online. You put a hashtag on, you shared a story instead of somebody organizing and collectively you women going somewhere and burning the organizations to the fucking ground. Do you really want to protect your kids? Because clearly the police wouldn't do it. Clearly your politicians wouldn't do it. Yeah, the men, I have to wonder how many men wanted to do it, but the women said, no, just we don't need to handle it that way. But you mama bears, y'all fucking said you were going to do it. Why didn't you go do this shit? So I blame them for this. That drag shows, Fucking love them, dude. Was taken there for my 30th birthday in Chicago.
They're
Had the
hilarious.
best damn time. Awesome. For kids, fuck you. End of story.
They're raunchy as fuck. They're raunchy as fuck. And they're hilarious. If you've never been to a drag show, people, don't judge before you go. They're hilarious. It's funny adult entertainment for if you have a sense of humor. But it should never be for children. Ever. Ever. It's disgusting, you know? Where we're at with so much of this shit, though, is because we won't stand the fuck up. Like, think about it. They were burning fucking cities down in 2020.
Yeah.
And then when somebody did stand up to try to protect their fucking neighborhood and had to defend themselves, they painted him a racist, even though nobody he shot was black.
Right.
They still call him a murderer,
Yep.
even though he was found not guilty.
Yep.
You know? But if they start burning cities down again, all you motherfuckers better turn into Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh,
you
no,
want
they're
that?
not good. Yeah.
You want that shit to stop? Just go out in force and make it stop.
Yeah, now you're asking conservatives to do something. Shit.
Right.
Alan, plug the show. When can everybody watch you guys?
Hey, Mark and I are on Evening Rants. It is on X, Spreely, and Rumble. We love Spreely. I tell everybody to go to it all the time. I love sitting and watching it on my TV. And we are Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We normally go for an hour and a half. And we talk about the topics of the day, but oftentimes Mark and I are both kind of crazy. So our ADHD will just take us to other topics. We have guests on all the time. Thank you so much for having me on, dude. I appreciate it.
Oh, no, we're going to have you back on. This is too easy for me is to ask a question and let you answer, and it's fucking fantastic. So, no, I would actually love to have you guys back on individually, separately, or together, all that shit. Guys, have a great damn day. Friday tomorrow, Kayla from the Flex Your Feminine is going to be joining on. I don't know what we're going to talk about tomorrow. I have no idea where we're going. We'll probably, this seems like be a theme topic for the week, so I know she's very passionate about this, so we'll see. All right, go to Spreely.com. Check out the social media platform. Connect with me on there. If you're not, go support rantsofizzo.com. Join the membership there. Spend the $5 you cheap son of a bitch, to keep us going. There you go. Other than that, go help somebody today. And if you can't help them, just don't hurt them. Have a great fucking day. I'll see you guys later on.
Thank you much.